Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 3:03 a.m. on this cold Saturday evening going into Sunday. I have the heat blasting in here. It's on 77. I need to turn it down a little bit. So warm. It's 46 degrees outside right now. I just woke up a little bit ago. And I was like, well, I think I'm gonna go vlog and then listen to half an hour of my audiobook. I'm really into my new book that I started. So I finished the True Crime Book Club. Well, a True Crime Book Club. This book for April, which is... Why can't I remember what it's called? It's called Last Call. I can't remember what it's called. It's called Last Call by Elon Green. It was fantastic. It was absolutely amazing. I gave it 5 stars. I was talking to Mel about it today. It was so interesting because at the end of the book, like, this won't ruin it for anybody. It's just in the epilogue where he's talking about what like motivated him to write the book. He said that he was really not so interested in the story of the killer or you know, the whole true crime aspect of the book. That actually what he was interested in investigating was these I think it was 4 men that were the victims and how they ended up where they did to end up in the path of a killer. Like, what led them to that point. And so he goes in and he starts talking about the first victim. He tells them in order, chronologically. But then he also talks a lot about the HIV/AIDS crisis, specifically in New York City at that time. I mean, he's talking about it specifically to New York City at that time. And he's also talking about violence towards gay men and, well, I mean, the LGBTQIA plus community, but really he's talking about towards gay men at that time. And he's talking about from like early 80s to early 90s. To the backdrop of then he like talks about all of these different bars. And not only that, but like what each specific gay bar was for or represented. And the majority of, I think all of them, well, there was one guy that was a hustler, so that was murdered. But other than that, they were older guys, and they liked to go to piano bars and like sit by the piano and talk business and sing. It was very interesting. You know, especially looking at it from a point of view of like, well, and these bars catered to younger men that liked older guys. And so these younger men would show up and they would be dressed very nice, because you had to be dressed nice to go into these clubs. And now I can't remember what the main club was called. One club was the 5 Oaks, and it closed during his writing, or during his telling of this, because it just showed, the bartender just showed up and it was padlocked. What was the other bar though? It was like the Grand View or something. It was like the main bar that he talked about in there. But one of the things that was interesting in talking about that and this one guy, they interviewed a lot of people that have been like, had gone to these bars at that time, or he interviewed a lot of people. And this one guy said, you know, that he thought that for him, life as a gay man would end at like 35, 40. And here he was 55 or 60. And he was going to these bars and he was finding friends and camaraderie and other people that were his age, that were professionals, that liked the same kind of music that he did, you know, and would sit there and have a scotch and soda and sing a show tune, you know, and that they had these like younger guys around them that like liked them, you know, that were like 25 to 35 was like the age group of the younger guys. And then he also referenced at one point a young guy by the name of Andrew Cunanan that like came through town and was very well dressed and seemed to have a lot of money, and nobody knew who he was, but he went to these bars where you could find like, you know, older guys if you liked that. And it was so interesting because, and he goes, I mean, it's literally only like 3 sentences of the book, but Andrew Cunanan is who killed Gianni Versace. And so in the book, he's talking about how, like, little did they know that he had just killed this guy in New Jersey, or these 2 guys in New Jersey, or something like that. I don't know the Andrew Cunanan. I mean, I watched the show. The Ryan Murphy show was fantastically done with Darren Criss as Andrew Cunanan. But I don't, if you haven't seen it, it's really, really good. But I don't remember, like, the order of how that all went down. It is so hot in here all of a sudden. The heating and the air conditioning in this car is fantastic. I will say that. So the book was really interesting, especially, like I was going to say, from the point of view of living in Indiana, where when I came out, there were so many bars in New York City, and this was just in one area that was kind of between the Village and Chelsea that he was talking about. This was just like one area. Because he went in and he talked kind of about like a bar that was specifically for black men that liked leather, and then there was like a dance bar. There were a couple preppy bars. He quoted like Augustin Burroughs going to these preppy bars. One was called like, can't remember, but Uncle Something's, but, and that he like said it was like horrible or whatever. He was like, it was just as bad as the name represents, or something like that. But Augustin Burroughs is such a cynic, so. But that there was like a different bar for everything, you know, that depending on what crowd you felt like you fit in. And it's interesting because, like in Indianapolis, well, now we have like 3 gay bars, if even that. Well, 3 gay bars, yeah. We have this one in Mass Ave called Teeny's, which, I mean, none of these bars are like specifically gay bars either. And then there's the Metro. And then there's a drag bar, and then there's OPs. So I guess that's 4 bars. Is there more? Is that I'm not thinking of? That's it. It's like 4 bars in Indianapolis, and I don't even know if they're all still open either. But when I came out, it wasn't so much that there was like, well, the 501 was a leather bar, and it's very much like, he talks about the Eagle in that bar, in his book, that the Eagle was like this leather bar. The Eagle's real famous, so there's lots of them. There's one in Denver. I think there's one like in LA. I did something today. I don't know what I did, you guys. I like yawned really hard, and I feel like I pulled like my stomach muscles or something. Do you guys ever do that? I feel like I did like 1,000 sit-ups, but I didn't, obviously. And like after I like yawned really big, like had my arms over my head and everything, like my stomach hurt. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I like pulled a muscle in my stomach. So at the time that I came out though, it was like, it wasn't so much like what bar you would go to for what, because like I never went to the 501. I think I may have gone a couple times, and there was also like a strip club called the Unicorn, but it wasn't so much. And then it was like the 10 was the lesbian bar, and the Varsity was like where you would go eat, and they also did drag shows, and OP's was more like college, kind of laid back. And then NYC was like the dance club, and the Metro was like it was like a drag dance club. And there were, I mean, we had like probably 10 or more gay bars in Indianapolis at that time. Then Talbot Street opened. It was never so much like, and then there's a sushi restaurant that's called 45 Degrees. It sits on the corner of Mass Ave and College, which like they did a lot of like gay stuff back in the day. And most of that Mass Ave area that's now just kind of like high-end restaurants, very artsy restaurants and stuff like that, that whole section was all like gay owned and operated businesses when I came out. And what's interesting is the bars in Indianapolis were more geared towards nights of the week. which I can even still remember. Like Wednesday nights, the Metro had a huge drag show, so everybody would go to the Metro for the drag show. And the drag show was like, I think like 11 to 1, and then 1 o'clock everybody would go to OP's, and bars were open till like, I think 3 or 4, I think 3. And then everybody would go to OP's from like 1 to 3. And then Thursdays, well, like when Talbot Street opened, stuff changed because it was a huge club and some bars had shut down in other clubs. I don't really remember. On Thursday night, Thursday night was the 10, because that was when they had half-price drinks. And so it was kind of dubbed boys' night at this lesbian bar. That was a fun bar. They called it the Dirty Dime. I honestly never thought that bar would close. And the owner, I remember her name was Cheryl, and she always parked right in front. She had this parking spot like right in front, and she had like this big huge car, and I mean it was some kind of like big Chrysler or something. And I remember they would come over the speaker and they would say, somebody's parked at Cheryl's. They would throw up the lights and they would say, somebody's parked at Cheryl's spot, move the car. It was hilarious. Somebody would get in a fight, you know, on the dance floor. People would be fighting, and because the dance floor would get so, it was like basically just a raised platform, you know, that was probably like 20 by 20, and it would get so hot and packed up there, and then people would start fighting, you know, and so they would flip on the lights, and then this one big security guard would come over with his flashlight and just like throw the light on somebody and be like, you're out of here. It was hilarious. And also, you know, it was, when you would walk through the door, they would have all these panels. Well, first of all, you had to walk through a metal detector. And then you had to buy a ticket behind a glass booth, like a movie theater booth. And then when you walked in, there was like the Bellflower Clinic, which was our local STD clinic, which you could on spot get tested for STDs and HIV. At that point, the point that I came out in Indianapolis had the highest rate of syphilis in the country. That's scary. So that was Thursday nights, and I feel like we would stay there like the whole night. And then Friday and Saturday nights, we would end up at OP's, which was called Our Place, which is where that Herb Baumeister would go pick up his guys. But we would go to a drag show sometimes first at the 10, because they had drag shows. Or we would go to Club Cabaret or Tomorrow's. And there was another drag bar that was like down south from all there. It's still open. It's the one that's still open. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, Tomorrow's was the very first gay bar I ever went in. I carried a friend of mine's drag in. That's how I got in. Then I got a fake ID real quick after that. Oh my gosh, those were the days. So it was interesting reading the book, but I was telling Mel, I said, you know, like, if you said to me, hey, you should read a book about the gay history of New York City, I would have no interest whatsoever. I would think, right? Like, that just doesn't sound like a very interesting read to me. But this book was basically a gay history of New York and New York City, and I was just enthralled. I thought it was fantastic. So anyway, I finished that, and then I started Central Park by Guillaume Musso, who's actually, I like looked him up today. He is like really attractive, and he's like this, I think he's like a James Patterson of France. He's like France's supposed #1 author is what it says, and he's written all these books. And so this is like one of the first ones I think that's been translated into English, or that I found it at Target. Anyway, I've never heard of him before. So it's the book that I picked for Peter's Book Club for the month. And it's really good. Okay, the dialogue is horrible. Like, it's, and I don't know if it's because of the translation, but there's like a lot of like cliched statements. Like, what was the one that he said right before I stopped listening? There's just like a lot of like cliched statements that you would never put into a book because it would really just show like your lack of writing skills. I'm trying to think of an example. You know, unless you had like a character that spoke like in, you know, sayings like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, or, you know, like, have you ever known somebody that always says that kind of stuff other than me? Because I do. Like, I have a friend of mine, she says these sayings, and I always am like, what is the one that she says? It's something about Johnny, and it cracks me up whenever she says it, because she says it like with such seriousness, and it just like I lose it every time she says it. But anyway, but it's not even like that. It's like well, I hate this saying, so I'll just say it. Like, have you guys ever heard this? Like when I was growing up, people would always say, oh, he's queerer than a $3 bill. Like, you would never describe somebody like that in a book, okay? You just would. I mean, he doesn't in this book, but you would just never describe somebody like that in a book. I mean, first of all, it would just make it look like you were rather unintelligent, and second of all, that may be bigoted. I don't know. He doesn't have bigoted statements in there, but it's like that. It's corny. It's like, why would you put this in here? And it's like descriptive. And so I'm wondering if it's the translation from French to English. So the dialogue is not great between the two main characters. Like, for example, he's from the United States. So there's two, okay, this is the storyline. There's two, the main character, Elise, wakes up, okay? She's a French police officer. She wakes up in Central Park, and she is handcuffed to this guy that is a pianist, who is from the United States, living in Dublin. He was doing like a gig in Dublin. And she thinks they're in Paris, and he thinks they're in Dublin, and they are like fighting over it. And so like she'll speak to him in like a French accent, and he'll make fun of her, like to her in her French accent. And he'll say, oh, you think so? Or something like that. And it's so dumb. It's like they're like grown adults. And she's like a homicide detective in a police department. And she's like fighting with him. Like, it's silly. It's just kind of silly. And then when she calls and she talks to her best friend, who's like in charge of the homicide unit for the police department that she works in Paris. She like gets a hold of him, and she's like, this is really serious. This is what happened. I need your help. And he's like, quit joking. And then she's like, no, this is serious. Like, I'm in New York City. I need your help or whatever. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. Like, it's like, I don't know. I have to believe it's the translation, like, is not done well or something, because it just is, it's like, her friend doesn't even, like, believe her. And then they're, like, having this conversation back and forth, her and her partner, this guy in Paris, and, it just is not like how two police officers would talk in a book that you know what I mean? So anyway, they have no idea how they got there. She's got a gun in her pocket. They both have blood on their clothes, and they're handcuffed to each other. And so it's them trying to find out, and they have no money, no phone, nothing. And so it's them trying to figure out, like, what they're gonna do. And it's really interesting. I mean, it's very, like, the dialogue is not great, but it's not horrible. And it's just really fast-paced. It's, you know what? It reads like a James Patterson novel. That's why I feel like it probably, a good James Patterson novel, you know? So I feel like that's maybe who he is in Paris or something. I don't know. He's got a ton of books out. Anyway, if you want to read it, read along with it. It's the April book for Peter's Book Club. I got it at Target. You can get it anywhere. It's called Central Park by Guillaume Musso. So, anyway, there's that. Then, today, while I was running around, I was in such a great mood today. I just was in such a peaceful, happy mood, and I was listening to that book, and I was drinking coffee, and I was in such a good mood, and I was like, I'm gonna go to Ulta and get this nail polish that I've been wanting to get for the last couple days. So I'm standing there in the store. Ulta actually didn't really have very much. They had Sally Hansen nail polish, and then they had this one to the right, and that was it. And the one to the right had prettier colors. So I was standing there, and I was looking at this nail polish. I know nothing about painting my nails, nothing, okay? Except for that I did it when I was in high school and maybe a few times since. And I used to use clear nail polish a lot, actually. So anyway, and I got Alex some nail polish for Christmas. I got him that black Chanel nail polish. It's really pretty. And then he kind of like chips it a little bit. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at these nail polishes, and they all said something about gel. Well, I mean, I'm not stupid. Like, 90% of my friends get their nails professionally done. You know, I mean, Tanya Jean goes and gets a manicure and a pedicure about every other week. And I get pedicures. So it's not like I'm stupid, you know. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, is gel nail polish different? And I'm thinking about, I'm like in my head, like my friends that I've talked to. And I almost called somebody and I was like, no, it's not that expensive. It's whatever, you know. So I get this nail polish, this gel nail polish. I'm like, you know, if it is, then I'll just give it to one of my friends. I'll just, you know, whatever. I was standing, because it's like, there was a long line at Ulta. Well, not a long line, but because you had to be like 6 feet apart, it was like into where the nail polish was. So I was kind of standing there waiting in line while I was looking at the nail polishes. And I was like, I kept on thinking to myself, I shouldn't get this gel nail polish. I think this is wrong. My gut, this is why you should go with your gut. My gut was telling me this is wrong. Well, sure enough, I do this video on my Peter Does Stuff channel showing all of this nail polish that I got. And literally, like, every third comment on there is like, that gel nail polish, you have to do it underneath an LED light. Like, and it'll stay on forever. You can't just, like, get it off real quick. I was like, oh my gosh. People were so nice in the comments, but it was literally like every second or third comment, people were like, now, you do know that that's gel nail polish, that the first couple of ones that you had. I was like, why can't I? I'm not stupid, I just didn't know, you know? I'm trying to not say those things. Thank you, Karen. No, it's not that I'm stupid, it's just that I didn't know, you know? And, so, I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm going to give those to Tanya, because Tanya, like, she loves these colors that I got. So I'm just going to give it to her, and then she can just take it into the nail salon, because she, like, picks her own nail polish out, you know, when she goes in there and all that kind of stuff. She loves doing that. So, and then I think that I'm going to go just to, like, Walmart or the Meijer. I'm going to the Walmart or the Meijer or Target or the Target. I don't usually say the Target. I usually just say Target. So I'm either going to go to the Walmart or the Meijer or Target. Maybe Target, because I haven't been to Target for a while. And I'm just going to buy some nail polish. I did wonder, because when I sat here in my car and I put it on, it kind of started coagulating, like, in a really weird way. And I mean, I have put on enough nail polish in my life, and also I used to put it on my mom. I used to do my mom's nails and my friend's nails and stuff like that. And I remember this one time, I don't know why I'm remembering this now. This is actually way before I got sober. This girl that I went to high school with, and she was like a year older or 2 years older than me. I was at an after hours party and I saw her. It was when I was with my roommate, who was my really good friend that lives in Berlin now. And we were at this after party that's kind of close to my house. It was at this guy's parents' house. They were out of town. And I saw her, and she was like, oh my God, we went to high school together. I thought you were so cool. I was like, what? I remember. And I was like, I can remember just being like wasted at the thing. And she was like, and that was when I was like filing my nails every day, and I was like painting it with like this glossy nail polish and like just a clear coat. And she was like, your nails, she just kept on going on and on about my nails. She's like, your nails are so pretty. You know, somebody can give you a compliment one time and you just like hold on to it forever. That was me that day. But I am kind of like weird about like my nails. Like I'm always like filing them and like, anyway. And I don't like to get manicures because I like to do my nails the way that I like to do them, but I do like to do pedicures because they do such a fantastic job on my feet. So, yeah. So I'm gonna go get some nail polish at Target or the Walmart or whatever. I would have to think that they would have like more options too. I was kind of surprised Ulta didn't have that many options. I bought some of this lip gloss that's from this brand. Shoot, what's it called? It's a new brand, and it's by like Mills Cosmetics. Well, Mills Cosmetics is the girl from Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown. That's the one, right? Like, I looked it up tonight, I think. So, am I wrong? Like, that's her makeup line, okay? Is that who it is? Anyway, they sell it at Ulta, and I bought the lip gloss because it's now. I gotta look this up. This is gonna drive me crazy. Something fell over to the side over there, and I think it's my lip gloss. Okay. Because I was like, she has a makeup line? Everybody has a makeup line. I was listening to Mary J. Blige, Fade Away. Okay. Oh, shoot, I don't want to lose that movie that I was going to download. Mills Cosmetics. I'm almost positive is what it's called. Donna Mills Cosmetics. No, that's not what I'm talking about. No. Millie Bobby Brown. Is this the actress? No. Millie Bobby Brown. Okay, she is a British actress. I know you guys are probably like, we already knew this, Peter. Model and producer. Oh, she was in that movie 11. Oh, wait. It is her. How old is she now? My God, you guys, can you see this? She looks like she's 35. How old is she? She's 17 years old. My God, she looks like she's... Okay, Millie Bobby Brown Cosmetics. I guess I was right. Shit. Florence by Mills Cosmetics. Is that by her? I know that there are people out there that are like screaming at the camera right now. Okay, here it is. Everyone's favorite 15-year-old now has her own beauty brand. Millie Bobby Brown debuted Florence by Mills, a new makeup and skincare company aimed at Gen Z. The brand is definitely playing to its audience. Each product is clean, cruelty-free, vegan, and within the $10 to $34 price range. So yes, that is hers, and it's called Florence by Mills. Let me just tell you, the packaging, if you haven't seen it, is really cute. And the only reason I saw it was because I was like looking around the store. I've never seen it before, and I look at everything at Ulta and Sephora when I'm in there. So it's not like I'm a complete idiot. I did not know that she had a brand out. Okay, so apparently she's had it out for a while. So it's very like, the packaging is very clean. It looks like Milk Cosmetics, and I was like really impressed with it. So I was looking through her stuff, and I was like wanting to buy something to try it. So she had like a clear gloss. It wasn't like a clear lip gloss. It was like kind of like a milky clear lip gloss, like a pearl. And so I bought it, and I tried it when I tried it in that video in the car, and then I tried it again when I got home. It's total crap, you guys. It's total crap. I, honest to God, like, And I know, like, somebody said Manny's lip gloss is $18, and then with shipping and handling it's $25, which I'm sure is expensive. I think it's expensive, but like, I am spending money on lip glosses that somebody, okay, it stopped. A couple different people actually sent me this Jaclyn Hill lip gloss, which was very nice, and I'm really, really glad that I got to try it. And it's not a bad lip gloss, like, at all. Like, these are some of the things that, okay, first of all, it doesn't pull a lot of the product onto the component when you put it in there. And this is brand new. It's like just opened. Now this one, I will say for Jaclyn Hill's, is not super sticky. The one thing I cannot stand about a lip gloss is when it's super sticky. And the other thing is, if, you know, like, for most lip glosses, people put them over a lipstick, right? So if you're putting it over a lipstick, I can't even imagine having lipstick on and then a lip gloss that's super like every time you go like that, it just like, you know. So this isn't bad. I will tell you the smell of this is pretty good, although it reminds me of the Patrick Ta. It's kind of minty, kind of like a toothpaste. I wonder if it's almost supposed to be that way. So it's like your lips smell fresh. I wonder if that's why, partly, that they do that. But the Lunar Beauty is just, it's, oh God, I'm almost out of this. It's so much better. And the applicator is so soft, too. Like, I feel like it gets so much more product on the component, or on the little applicator. And I feel like it's easier to get on your lips. I don't know. Not like it really matters. I do it for fun anyway. Oh, but this was gonna say about when I was putting that nail polish in my nail. I did notice that, like, it kind of coagulated quickly, and like, it didn't dry at all. And by the time that I got home and I was like holding my nail like this the whole time, like, it was like a half an hour later and it still hadn't dried. And then like the whole thing just like wiped off. Can you see? I don't know if you guys can see the nail. It's like it has like no glue on it now at all. And it's still kind of a little wet, which is weird all these hours later. And all these people were like, it won't dry unless you have an LED light. And I was like, well, I don't have an LED light, so I guess it's not gonna dry. So anyway, yeah, well, you live and you learn. You make mistakes and you live and you learn, right? Tomorrow we're gonna go get brunch and then we're just gonna relax because Alex went out to dinner with a girlfriend tonight to this new restaurant downtown on Mass Avenue. He said the food was awful, but he said the vibe was cool, and it was called the Oakmont, I think. And so while he was gone, I was gonna hang out with my sponsor, but it started getting late. So I pre-filmed a Peterisms video, and then I was just sitting there, so I filmed a video for my Peter Does Stuff channel. And then my drama channel video that I was trying to get up today, it was taking so long to upload. I'm so tired of that I just was like, I'm gonna say, it was like almost 11 o'clock by the time that I would have uploaded it. And I was like, I'm just gonna post this tomorrow. And then I'll have my vlog for tomorrow as well. So, yeah. So I have 4 videos all ready to go tomorrow. So I am just gonna relax around the house, maybe go get some nail polish. I've gotta go take this glider to my friend, to her house, so I may do that tomorrow, depending on the weather. Today when I came out, I was gonna do it today, but it was like raining, and so the glider was soaking wet, and so was the cushion, and I was like, I don't wanna take this over there right now, with it soaking wet in my car. But yeah, if it's nicer tomorrow and it's a little drier, then I will take it over there. Tanya Jean gets home in the morning. By the time that I get up, Tanya Jean will be home. She's been on vacation in Florida. She left to go to Florida a week ago Friday. She's been gone for a really long time. I missed the crap out of her. And I've kind of felt like I didn't know what to do with myself, to be honest, a little bit. And so we've talked like literally every day, but it's been like long. So she first went down because her husband has a friend that has a big fishing boat in like Key Esmeralda. So they flew to Fort Lauderdale and then they drove to the Keys. And they stayed there Friday and Saturday, and they fished. And then Sunday, because they had rented a car, they drove from there up to like Sarasota area, and they got wherever that, like, she always likes to go shopping at that St. Armand's Circle or whatever. So anyway, they went there the other night and had dinner, and she did some shopping and stuff. But anyway, I think that's Sarasota. Am I wrong? Anyway, I used to go to Sarasota when I was a kid. But I think that's Sarasota. So anyway, they drove up there, and then she and her husband they rented a place for a week. And she had a fantastic time. And now she's ready to come home. Her son's been house sitting for her all week long with the dogs, because she, like, left her dogs there, and he could just, so she got a dog, like, a long time ago, and then Nick fell in love with the dog, and so at, like, 6 months, Tanya gave him the dog. And so now that he lives back in Indiana again, Tanya gets to see her all the time. And then Tanya's got 2 dogs, and so who get along really well with his dog. So he brought it. It's just easier for her. Then she doesn't have to have the dogs, the kennel the whole week. And so one of her dogs is, like, older and big, and so he stayed over there. And I was gonna, like, stop by and tease him. I was gonna be like, are you hanging out playing adult at your mom's house? He's almost 30 now. It's so weird that I have known him his almost entire life. It's crazy when you start, like, when you do, like, my cousin's son, which is like my second cousin, but it feels like he's more like my nephew because our family is so small. Like, I remember my mom calling me, and I was leaving work, and she said, Caroline just had David come to the hospital. And I remember driving over there in this, like, winter storm, and Caroline was so mad. She's like, don't take any pictures of me. I was like, Caroline, you're so silly. And I have this picture of my mom, and she's, like, in this winter coat, and I love this. It's probably, like, my mom looks haggard. It's, like, one of the worst pictures I've ever seen of my mom. Like, she just does not look good. She looks tired and whatever. But the look on her face holding David, like, it's one of my favorite pictures of my mom. It's like, I don't know why I'm getting real emotional thinking about this. Because my mom always cared so much how she looked in pictures, She always wanted to look so, like, And this picture, she has, like, such a genuine smile on her face, just, like, looking at him, and she's just so excited, They were so close. She watched him a lot when he was younger. And he was, like, one of those kids that was not just, like, like, raised by, like, one person. Like, he was raised by, like, my aunt and uncle. Like, he was over at their house, like, every weekend, at least one night, or, like, every other weekend. I mean, he stayed there a lot. And, I love to go through this parking lot and do this little obstacle course that I've set up for myself. Do you notice that I do this every night? There's nobody here, so I can. And it's actually, there's a driving school right there. It says driving school right there. Do you see it? Driving school. Anyway, or maybe that was Maria's that I pointed to. Maria's Mexican Grill. Well, next to it, 2 down, is driving school. And then Supercuts and Sherwin-Williams. So you can get your driver's license education. You can get your haircut right next to it. You can get your nails done. You can get paint for your house, and you can go finish up the day at Maria's Mexican and get yourself some Mexican food. I love those little strip mall Mexican restaurants. They always have the best, like, queso, and oh, the Coke is so good there, isn't it? Anyway, I digress. David was, like, raised by so many people. Like, he stayed at my aunt and uncle's house. I just brought this up when we were over there the last time, because I said to Caroline, I said, my side view mirror keeps on fogging up. I don't know why. But I said, I remember, like, for Christmases, like, my aunt and uncle would, like, whatever he wanted, like, his big gift, like, my aunt and uncle, like, if it was, like, I don't know, like an Xbox, let's say, my aunt and uncle would want to buy, my aunt, not my uncle, my aunt would want to buy one so that he had one at that house too, at their house too, because he was over there so much. He had his own room there. And Caroline would get, like, upset about it. And she was like, he doesn't need 2 of them, Mom. He can just bring it over there. My aunt would say, he's my grandson, and he will have what I want him to have. She spoiled him rotten. She was so good to him. And he was so good to her, too. David was, oh my God, with my aunt and uncle, who we called Grandma and Poppy, he was just, well, he was my uncle's best friend. I mean, they went to movies together, and he was just everything, you know. And, but my mom used to, because, like, when Caroline started, like, working a little bit, she didn't, as a realtor, she didn't, like, you know, go in and work, you know, 40 hours a week, but just a little bit, you know, like, my mom would watch him here and there, and, you know, she would go with my aunt to the children's museum, and my mom and him would ask if they could have extra sprinkles in their ice cream. My aunt always thought that was real cute, she told me later. And, my mom would, like, read books to him and take him to the pool in her neighborhood. And I remember one time I said something to her. She always was wearing glitter nail polish. All of a sudden, she was wearing glitter nail polish a lot. Always, no. She was wearing glitter nail polish a lot. And I said, what is with the glitter nail polish, Mom? And she's like, David likes it. She was like, if I don't have glitter, and this was when he was, like, real young, and he would, like, point to stuff, and so she would go get it. And she said he always grabs my hands. He likes the glitter nail polish, and if I don't wear the glitter nail polish, and David doesn't like it, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess you better wear the glitter nail polish now. You know, he was such a big deal in our family because, you know, I came out, and I think, like, that was at a time when you didn't talk about gay guys having kids or adopting, right? Like, that wasn't really discussed. And I never really wanted, I mean, I was never against it. Like, if one of my exes had wanted kids and we had decided that was the road that we were going to take, I would have been open to it, but that was never, like, what I wanted. Like, that was never the picture that I saw for myself, was having, like, a family like that, like a traditional family, you know? I just didn't. It wasn't something, it's never been something that was important to me. And so Caroline had David, but she really only wanted to have one. She didn't want to, you know, like, have more than that. And Mike, her husband, is older than her, and he has 2 sons already. He had 2 sons already. So, like, I think everybody knew, like, because Caroline and I are, you know, only children and only siblings. Feels that way. We're only children and we're only cousins from 2 moms that were siblings. So I think everybody knew, like, David's it, you know? And he got treated like the prince of the city. I mean, he really did. And was never, like, never was, he was always a polite kid. He's always been so fantastic and kind and compassionate and just so loving and caring towards everybody. But that kid had a lot of people that loved him when he was growing up. A lot. I did too, you know, like, I feel very blessed. It's like I was talking to Susie the other day, and I said, I called her and I said, well, Susie, I thought I should call and check in just to let you know that I'm still alive, see if you are too. She started laughing. She's like, is your dad still alive? I said, Susie, I would call you if something happened, my Lord. Because Susie used to be really close to my dad, because Susie was like a year older. Is she a year older than my mom? Anyway, she knew my dad through my aunt. Okay, so my aunt knew my dad before my mom knew my dad. And then I think it was Susie that actually introduced my dad to my mom. And so Susie loves my dad and she thinks he's hilarious and stuff. But anyway, so she was like, will you tell that old man that? I said, well, Susie, you can call him too, you know. But anyway, it was good talking to her on the phone. And what did she say to me that was so sad? I said, Susie, you cannot think that way. You're going to be here till you're 103. She said, I don't know. She was talking about something that, I can't remember what she said now. Said that she wanted to do or watch or something. I can't remember. She loves Willie Nelson. She's like, nah, but if Willie Nelson called me and told me that he wanted me to come down there for front row seats to a concert, she's like, I'd be right there. I'm like, okay, Susie. But I had Susie growing up. But, you know, Susie, like, even though she was, like, such an important part of my childhood, like, she would come in the summers for several weeks, like 2 weeks in the summer, and they would stay with us, with the exception of a couple days here and there that they would go and stay with, like, other friends of hers, because she's actually from a small town in Indiana. Susie's parents owned, like, car dealerships, and so they're from, like, small town in Indiana. And then she went to IU and then moved. So she would come home every year in the summer and visit, like, all of her friends and people, and she would bring her 2 daughters. And one of her daughters is 7 days exactly older than me. And so she and I are, like, super close. And I can get, like, so emotional. Like, when they came to bring her daughter goes to IU. Susie's granddaughter goes to IU. And when she came, and Alex and I went, and he knew Susie, but he had never met her daughter. And we went to Cheesecake Factory, and we met up with all of them. Like, it felt like my mom should have been there. Like, my mom loved her so much, Susie's daughters. God, I don't know why I'm getting so emotional about this tonight. It's just so weird to me that, like, my mom isn't here for this stuff, you know? Like, that would mean so much to her. Like, Susie and I were talking about her daughter, and, like, her daughter's got 3 kids, and one of them was in college, one of them was in high school, one of them was in junior high, and it's just so weird to me, you know? And she's telling me, like, anyway, it was just, my mom would have loved these stories, you know? I love her so much. She's so fantastic. But, like, when I was younger, I didn't see Susie but, like, every summer, and it was kind of very much like that. Like, I always relate stuff to this, To Kill a Mockingbird, like, when Boo Radley comes back in town. Like, I can remember, like, my mom and I sitting on the front porch, like, waiting, and Susie would drive up from the airport. I was so excited. And she always came, like, early August, like, right before school started. And, and then my mom had another sorority sister that she was super close with, like, year-round. We did a lot of stuff with her and her daughters. And then my aunt and uncle. And then we had another friend that lived in Oak, I can never remember if it's Oak Brook or Oak Park, Illinois. They also have a place in Park City, Utah as well. Well, now they live in downtown Chicago, but they were, like, really good friends of my dad and my mom. But, you know, and then, like, all these people that, like, Caroline and I were talking about this the other day, like, what happened to all these people that our parents were friends with when we were growing up, that were, like, at their house all weekend, you know? It's like our moms were really good friends with these 2 gay guys. I can totally remember them coming over, and they would wear, like, I remember one time I said something to my mom about it. I don't know if my mom just was clueless or whatever about stuff. This one guy, I said something to her about him. I was like, and I was probably like 12 at the time. I was like, Mom, he is gay. And she, can you imagine Peter saying that? And she was like, no, he's not. She goes, he kissed my cheek one time, Peter. She was, like, really offended by it. I think she had a crush on him. Anyway, he's probably long gone by now. I don't know. He was, I think, older than my mom at that time. But, and this other guy that had, like, lived in New York City and, like, sang on Broadway and stuff. And they would come over to my mom or my aunt's house, and my mom and my aunt and these two guys would like drink and stay up late and like play music and dance in the living room and drink. And these two guys would wear like khaki pants, penny loafers. My mom always called them like, well, she would, the kind they wore, she would call it Basswegians. Do you remember that? I don't know why my mom always called them that. She'd say, now, are they true penny loafers or are they Basswegians? You know, my husband, he got a pair of penny loafers a couple years ago, and I think they are so sexy. He wears them with like jeans rolled up, and that is exactly how my mom wore them. And when I was in high school, well, kind of like early, I would say high school, because it was very kind of like a 50s flashback kind of thing, I wore penny loafers with the jeans rolled up, you know? But Alex did that a couple years ago, and I love that look. But man, I have such a hard time wearing any kind of shoe anymore on my foot. I just get blisters like crazy. Y'all know I do. So I just need to start wearing shoes, I guess, instead of Birkenstock sandals all the time. But why would you if they're so comfortable? And the Birkenstock shoes are ugly. I think they're so ugly. But anyway, and they would come over, and I can remember they would hang out. I remember the one guy, he was a really heavy drinker. I remember him drinking, like, and my mom getting really just blitzed. And he came over to our house one night, and I remember he was talking about the Strawberry Festival, the Strawberry Festival, the Strawberry Festival. And it's this thing that they do in Indianapolis on the circle downtown. We have like this actual circle with a monument in the middle of it. And it's where they like serve like strawberry shortcake and strawberry this and strawberry that. And he went on and on and on about it. And he was like, okay, now tomorrow I'm gonna come and pick you up. And he had just gotten like a brand new Cadillac or something. And he was like, tomorrow I'm gonna pick you up in my new car and wear a tie, and I'm gonna take you and your mom, or I'm gonna whatever, to the Strawberry Festival. I was so excited about this Strawberry Shortcake Festival that he went on and on and on about. My mom told this story later. My mom was always weird about like I didn't really, if she dated, I didn't really know a lot of the guys that she dated because she just never brought them around to me. She would be like, I mean, unless somebody's going to be seriously in my life, they're not going to be around my kid. Like, I'm not doing that. She felt very strongly about that and had no problem telling friends of hers who would like date a guy for a month and have him around her kids. She would say to them, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? Like, you're introducing your kid to all of these different people that they're not going to have, like, be permanent in their life, you know? That was, like, one thing that my mom felt very strongly about. It just got really foggy around here. Kind of spooky. Anyway, I don't know why I just thought of that. I was like locking my door and I thought that was one of the things my mom felt really strongly about. And then I thought, and another thing that my mom really, really hated was kids and pets locked in cars with the windows rolled up all the way. My mother would go ballistic. And I don't know if that was like a childhood thing of hers that she like remembered from her childhood, but I remember one time I was at the gas station with her. Like, I don't remember how old I would have been, like probably 12 or 13, something like that. And we pulled up, she was like getting gas, and I can see it in my head. I can see the gas station that we were at and everything. It was like this Crystal Light in Carmel, I think. And, or was that what that gas station was called? Crystal Flash in Carmel. And there was like this toddler in the back seat of the car, and the windows were rolled up and the door was locked. And I remember my mom, I mean, she was so furious. She like walked inside and I could hear her say, she's like, I'll call social services. I don't have a problem calling social services. You left that child in that car with the windows rolled up, the doors locked, anybody, she was like so upset. So upset. But anyway, needless to say, he never came to pick us up or pick me up or whatever to go to the Strawberry Festival, probably because he was too hungover or he was drunk when he told me, or he forgot or whatever. And all I know is he never came around again. We never saw him again. My mom was done. She was done. I remember hearing her say something to him on the phone, but my mom was very much the attitude, you don't F with my kid. You know, screw with me all you want, but you don't F with my kid. You just don't. Not my kid's emotions, not my kid's feelings. You're not going to do that. And I think that my mom always felt like I had enough empty promises anyway, you know, with, like, the marriage. I mean, she always was so worried that the divorce, like, affected me on some really great level. It's so funny today how many people get divorced left and right, and they don't ever think about how their kids are affected by it. But I remember all of us that, like, went through divorce at that time, maybe 2 of us in the whole school, because it was a big deal. Like, in suburban America in the late 70s, for your parents to get divorced was like a no-no. And I remember there were like 2 or 3 of us, and I can remember doing, like, some group with a counselor at one point about it. Like, they were always so worried, you know, which is weird because I think of all the things in my life that really had some profound effect on me. My parents' divorce, I feel like, is one of the smallest. But I feel like my mom thought that I had been through so much, you know, that was like, she wasn't going to let more happen, you know, as far as people saying they were going to show up to things and they weren't going to show up. I don't know. God, this vlog has been everywhere tonight, hasn't it? I think if I wore lipstick, I'd be like that person that, like, reapplies their lipstick, like, every 10 minutes. I probably would be, wouldn't I? I mean, I've always worn, like, chapstick and stuff, so it's kind of the same thing. Somebody commented they got a box of their they ordered a bunch of stuff from Sol de Janeiro and they got it in the mail and they loved it. I think they commented on a video they got that, which made me so happy. I love the Sol de Janeiro products. They are expensive as hell, but they are so worth it. I love them. Well, all right, you guys, listen. So if you try your Sol de Janeiro, let me know. And let me know what your favorite lip gloss is in the comment section below. And let me know what nail polish brands and colors I should buy, because I don't know. And yeah, and now I'm gonna go listen to my audiobook for Central Park, which is Peter's Book Club book pick of the month. And that light over there is weird. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. I hope you're getting refreshed and rejuvenated and renewed for the week ahead. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!